Hey guys, what's up? It's Iflin here, and today we're going to be talking about everything that was showed off in TennoCon 2020. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was quite impressed by the things that they showed off. This year's TennoCon, it felt more like a honest TennoCon. Whenever you compare it to the previous years, like, they didn't show as much, but at least what they showed was realistic, and, you know, they weren't afraid of putting another open world out there. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen TennoCon 2020, by the way. It is going to be another open world with a few other things on top of that. So let's start from the beginning. Basically, they showed off first the new frame called Sadu, and he is our broken Warframe, the community-based Warframe, and to me, he's going to be a very interesting frame to play around with because he is going to be one of the only frames in the game that allows us to deal void damage with his abilities. That concept is really cool to me. Now, his kit does a bunch of other things, and I'm not going to talk about him too much here in today's video because, honestly, what they showed off for him deserves a video of its own. On top of that, we are getting him near the end of the month. This entire update, everything that we're going to be talking about in today's video, we're getting it on August 25th. So that might be the biggest thing that you take away from this video. We're getting everything on August 25th. And I feel like I should maybe save my opinions on the new frame until then. But regardless, he is a broken frame who can break himself apart and turn into like an exoskeleton. He can deal void damage. He can take the enemies' guns, and then he can also CC the enemies and stuff like that. He's got a bunch of stuff in his kit. He looks like a really cool frame, and I'm excited to play him. It's going to be awesome. But moving on to the big stuff, and I mean the big stuff, like bigger than Yoshi here. I don't know why I said that. I've been watching too much Video Game Donkey. But Heart of Deimos and everything coming alongside it. So in your ship, if you have a pimple on your Warframe's neck that has been growing for a week, you can go into a room that is all infested and has like an infested chair inside it. In the Heart of Deimos update, or Deimos, however you want to say it, we're going to get a big nom nom boy in our ship, which we can feed our resources to basically charge him up, right? And whenever this guy is charged up, what you can do is you can sacrifice Warframes that you have to take and store an ability into this like infested chair, right? Then you can use this infested chair to take that ability that you took from one Warframe to put it into another Warframe. And that is crazy, right? Because like whenever you consider all of the different abilities in this game and the different combinations and stuff like that that you could pull off with different team setups, that's an insane concept. Now, it's not going to be all willy-nilly. Like, you can take like Energy Vampire from Trinity and put it onto Saren. There are going to be limitations, and they said on the TennoCon stream that ultimate abilities and signature abilities, whatever they classify those as, will not be tradable between Warframes, right? So the example that they used was Necrosis Desecrate. You can't take Desecrate and then put that on Saren, for example, and you probably can't use his ultimate either, right? So really cool in concept. The biggest downside is that you have to farm up an entirely new frame to take one of these abilities and put it onto a new one. It's another like element of grind and just repeating content that we played in the past. And it's definitely a you do it if you like type of thing. I don't think that's going to become like an essential thing to do. I think it's just going to be one of those things that you can do if you like. On top of that, there were other abilities that they didn't show off a lot that were sort of like based around the infested and stuff like that were in this little hemocyte chair, but of course they didn't really show any of that off. And the one example that they did show off was sacrificing a mag to take away pull, and also putting Volt's first ability, Shock, onto an Excalibur. And you'll see that in the Heart of Deimos gameplay if you happen to watch it. There is a video on my channel of me watching it live and my reactions to things that they showed. It wasn't really a reaction. I was kind of really quiet throughout the entire thing, but I did say some things here and there about the enemies and the lore and stuff like that. So worth a watch if you're interested. But yeah, they showed off using Vault 1 on Excalibur in the Heart of Deimos gameplay, and it was pretty cool, not gonna lie, to see a Warframe use a completely different ability. But with that being said, that is basically all there is to do with the Nom Nom Boy and the Hemocyte Chair, so let's talk about the Heart of Deimos planet. So they said in the gameplay reveal that the Heart of Deimos is meant to be sort of like the Orcan Derelict in some way, shape, or form. Not entirely sure what they mean by that, if they're going to be completely like removing the Orcan Derelict from the game or anything like that. But they talked about, you know, how it suffered from not having great matchmaking because it's sort of like a thing that you have to craft a key for and stuff like that. So they wanted to sort of fix that, I guess. So I don't know if the Orcan Derelict is being just completely thrown away and Heart of Deimos is completely replacing it, but there are nodes that you can play on Heart of Deimos that aren't a free roam, right? We didn't get to see those. We just got to see the planet or the rock or the moon or whatever it is on the navigation and see all the different nodes on it. And one of the nodes was a free roam, and that was the one that we got to jump onto. And upon jumping on to the free roam node, we were greeted with a little cutscene of like a bipolar robot who has like two personalities, split personalities, right? So he's got this really formal approach, and then he's also got this wacky personality to him as well, where he's like pointing out the bitey boys or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, but he called an infested a funny name, and basically this guy is like, you're the last hope for saving this planet, moon, whatever, and he takes you to a person called Mother. Mother is basically a person who was infested with the planet, and she is now sort of like one with the planet, that type of thing, and she has these weird dreams of past events which were actually reality, and there was a lot of lore to it, and I don't want to spoil it all. You're just going to have to play through it whenever it comes out if you don't watch the TennoCon stream, but it was really cool and it was really immersive, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of lore hidden within the Heart of Deimos, just the planet itself and the little player hub areas that are within it. There are new infested enemies and they look really cool, but my number one hope for these new infested enemies is that they are relatively tanky, right? Because the infested, they're definitely the easiest faction in the game in terms of just killing them, right? You can bring standard melee builds that's like Condition Overload, Blood Rush, Corrosive Damage on it, you know, Organ Shatter, stuff like that, and you will murder infested if you've got like any amount of slash in your melee weapon because they're just so squishy. So I really hope that these new infested enemies, every single one of them, has a decent bit of armor to make them a little bit more tanky, and also like specific ways of killing infested enemies. Now, there is this big one, and I'll show a little bit of gameplay on it on screen now, that he sort of stands on two legs that come down from his shoulders, right? So it's kind of like he's walking with his arms, and he's got this big torso that kind of looks like a penis, but he jumps around, flings it about, shoots stuff out of it, and he looks like a really tanky boy. Now, what they did in the gameplay was they shot the shoulders to kill him. I hope that there's going to be more of that across the board within the Heart of Deimos, because my number one criticism of Warframe in its current state is that the enemy design is quite lacking, right? So if they can like make most of these enemies a little bit tougher in regards to killing them, like how you take them down, having to do specific things to take them down, I think that's going to be amazing. Because whenever we got to see how the bounty was sort of structured, because keep in mind it is an open world, so it does have the bounty system, it seems more like you're playing like a miniature quest whenever you're doing bounties here. You meet up with the Mother because she is like infested. She's part of the planet. So there's going to be certain points within the Heart of Deimos that you go to, you talk to the Mother, and she's going to give you a bounty, which I'm hoping is sort of like specific to that area. And you go into like an underground cave system, and then you get to a certain area, and there's like a boss battle at the end. Now, that was only one of the bounties we were shown. Maybe it's not like that across the board. I really hope it is, but that was really cool. And the boss battle that they showed, they didn't show the entire thing. We got to fast travel using like one of those things that if you were around during the Jordas Verdict raid, it was a little thing that we got to use to sort of get from point A to point B. There was one of those, and they used it to get from this underground cave system back up to the surface of the Heart of Deimos. And then there's these big worm things that shot one another and like all these infested enemies, and you got to get into a mech suit. So hopefully there's a little bit more structure to everything within Heart of Deimos, the enemy design, the bounty design, something to change it up, because it does really seem like it's sort of like a lore-based open world type thing. Kind of like Fortuna, they didn't reveal much whenever it comes to Heart of Deimos. Everything that I went over is basically what they showed. I'm really excited for it. We also have the ability to ride on these infested enemies and use our gun kind of like on a K drive, which is really cool, admittedly. But my number one hope is that there's a lot more structure to the open world. I personally don't really have a problem with it being an open world. I know that there's a lot of people out there who'll be like, oh, it's just another open world. My number one concern is probably that, like, because I know it's an open world, I know that whenever I'm done with it, I'm going to be done with it, right? It's like a content island. So hopefully they're able to do something to bring us back to this open world, because it is definitely interesting looking enough at first glance to, you know, make some really cool content on, because it's just this really cool infested planet. And let's be real here, whenever it comes to the infested, they could go crazy with the enemy design, because they are infested enemies, like that you can mutate them and do all sorts of crazy things. So I'm pretty hopeful for the Heart of Deimos update. It comes out August 25th. I'm going to be live streaming it. And on top of that, there are also Twitch drops that are available on August 25th whenever the Heart of Deimos drops. So it's a very unique drop event. I believe it's like cards or something that you get. I'm not too sure, but it's some type of like cosmetic or decoration or something that you get. So all they said was that it's a special drop event with cool things. So make sure to tune in to any Warframe stream on the 25th of August to get your drops. I'll definitely be live, and I'll be grinding the heck out of the Heart of Deimos. So yeah, that is kind of my rundown and thoughts and opinions and hopes and worries for the Heart of Deimos. Like, it just, hopefully it has more structure to it. You know, if it has more structure to it, it's going to be a lot more engaging to play. And then they need to add in a little bit more replay value to it somehow, right? Like, make it rewarding, maybe introduce something new, because the mech suits that they showed at the end, apparently, I don't know if anyone officially at DE has says this, but one of my viewers says that apparently the mech suits are going to be customizable. So if the mech suits are customizable in the regards that we have to farm stuff up for the mech suits, and then there's going to be future content based around the mech suits, that would be kind of cool, not gonna lie. Like, if you could have your own personalized mech suit, pretty epic. We're Titanfall now, boys. But yeah, so we get the new Warframe, we get the Nom Nom Boy, we get new abilities on different Warframes, right? Or old abilities on Warframes. We've got the open world, we got new nodes to play, we got the lore of the open world, we got the bounties, we got the mech suits, and we got the new enemies. So that's all coming August 25th. I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are as well. I'm really hopeful, and I hope that they can add some type of replay value and structure to whatever future content that they plan to add to the Heart of Deimos. On top of that, we're still waiting on the third orb mother for Fortuna. So that's a thing too. Just keep that in mind, guys. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.